I wanted to share something that's somewhat personal when it comes to my life and why running is so important to me. And hopefully, this provides some insight for people who either are new to running, love running, have been running, but are going through a hard time with running. I've been in a love-hate relationship with running the last year. I think we're making up. I think we're getting back on good terms. Though there's something I've seen over the last 10 years when it comes to running that hopefully helps other people put things into perspective. And maybe I'm just making this for myself and talking out loud to understand my thoughts. I've been running for 10 years and on and off. Over the last 4 years, I've been a lot more consistent. Over the last year, I've been taking a lot of time off and feeling like running as a chore and feeling like I'm not fit and things like that. And I think to kind of give some perspective of what led into this, I spent some time in, what was it? It was like 2017, April 2017. I spent some time in a hospital for suicidal ideation, depression, things like that, figuring out medication. It was one of those like lockdown hospitals, and I met a lot of interesting kids that had tough stories and tough lives. Like I met this 13-year-old kid with schizophrenia, and he had a knife wound in his chest like yay big. So, it was interesting. It put things into perspective for me on what people are going through. Not to minimize what I've gone through or what I was going through. I just realized, like, man, people have some fucked situations, and mine's actually pretty damn good. So that was good for me. But when I came out of the hospital, that didn't fix everything. Like, I needed to start doing something with my life and feeling productive. And so I dropped out of high school. I started working full time, and I really started to get into running and training and exercising. And then when January 2020 rolled around, I really started to ramp it up and really commit to running. And so I went hard as shit. Like, I was running all the time. I started doing a running streak. I was running every single day. Did that for 933 days. I was lifting 5 days a week, doing yoga, and just like committing my life to it. And that was really, really valuable because I put in so much time and volume. I started to understand things that worked for me. And now I'm trying to like maximize, like the way I'm looking at it is how do I get the most benefit with the least amount of work so I can live the rest of my life doing the other things I want to, because I'm not just a runner. And that volume and that extra effort led me to course records, 10 marathons in 10 days, a sub 3 hour marathon, all within like, a 3 year or 2.5 year period of time. And then I just hit the wall of like fatigue. I don't know if it was like some adrenal fatigue or nervous system shutdown or whatever, but I would sleep for 12 hours, wake up, go for a run, sleep for another 2 hours, be up, and then sleep another 12 hours the rest of the night. Like, I was just constantly exhausted. And I'm still dealing with that, but I think I'm working through it. And I just wonder if it was too much too soon when it comes to running, because like I had a 212-mile week and then a 170-mile week before that. there was this 100-mile week or 100-mile race. I ran like 50 miles before race day and then ran a half marathon the next day after the 100-mile race. So I was just like not giving myself a break, and I wouldn't change that, though it definitely had an impact on me. And so really what I'm trying to get to, and the point of this video, is I love running, and it is just my thing, and it feels like my purpose and mission in life to some degree. I have other things that I want and need to do and look forward to doing. Running is just like a foundation for all of that. And when I started to get exhausted and hitting this level of fatigue and taking times off and ending my streak, I started to get really mad, and I still am a little bit, because I love running so much and I feel like it was taken away from me. And as I start to get back into training and kind of overcoming some of these hurdles over the last like 6 months, I'm falling in love with running again. And I guess what I'm hoping this gets across to whoever's watching is just the perspective that things ebb and flow. And if you're in love and running's great right now, that's amazing, and I'm happy for you, and I hope you can maintain that as long as you can and do as much as you want to. If you're injured, if you're tired, if you don't feel like you can get the training in, that can change. Like, that can come around. Like, you can do the right things and you can put in the work. Maybe not the training volume, because we always think of work as in running and training, but you could put in the work to get to that point. how's your sleep? Are you getting enough deep and REM sleep? Are you having or consuming good foods? Are you stretching? Are you doing strength training? If you're injured and can't run, can you swim? Like, there are things to do to get yourself and maintain your fitness, or really just stay healthy as an individual. Because what's hard for me is when I'm not running, I want to throw away all my training. I want to do nothing. And I've had weeks of that, and then I'll realize, oh, there was opportunity for me to be in the gym more, or swim, or bike, or something like that, even if I'm not running. And so remind yourself that, like, there are phases in life. Like, it's so obvious. I'm the billionth person to say this, is that things go up and down, and they ebb and flow, and what goes up must come down. And then you're faced with the decision to keep going, to figure it out, or just accept defeat. And that's something I've been going back and forth of being like, is do I want to put this much time into running? Do I care this much? Should I just like take what I got, these course records and this 10 marathons in 10 days and this running streak and sub 3-hour marathon? Do I just look at that as the past, or do I look at that as the beginning of my running journey? And I've gone back and forth on this, and I believe it's the beginning. I believe it's the beginning. I've just hit a dip, and I've hit a low that can give me the opportunity to bounce back up and remember that, you know, it's not just a straight, like, progress is not just a straight linear line. It's all over the place. It's some, you know, spaghetti plate dinner, you know, all over the place, and you figure it out and you work through it, right? And that's what I'm hoping you get from this, is if you're in a rough time, great, figure out what the fuck you're supposed to do about it. And if you're in a great time, awesome, enjoy that fully, because it may not be around forever. And then if you do hit a low and you do hit a dark point, ask yourself, what do you want to do with that? What is there to learn? Where do you go from there? What can you learn from the past so that it's different in the future? And this is something that is just a great reminder in dark places, because when you're in the shit, it's really hard to remember that there's light. And when you're in the light, you forget that sometimes you get into the shit. So, you know, just perspective is everything, right? And you can choose the way you think about things, and I'm getting better at doing that with this current period. And I mean, I went for a run yesterday. It felt pretty damn good. So I think I'm ramping it back up, and I'm excited for that. I feel like I've gotten out the shit a little bit. So if you like running content, mindset stuff, training tips, things like that, I've had success in running over the last couple of years, and I continue and plan to continue to have more. If you like that kind of stuff, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'm on a mission to help people get fitter, faster, avoid injury, work through injury, fall in love, and stay in love with running. It's something that's absolutely changed my life. If you don't want to hit the subscribe button, totally cool too. I hope you got value out of this, because I know your time and attention is very valuable. So hopefully you got something to apply in your own life, or just something. Hopefully I get to see you on the trails, or maybe out there running, maybe not. Hit a comment or whatever YouTubers are supposed to say. But overall, I hope I get to see you in the next video or sometime soon. Peace.